Hello, world. How are you? Here in the United States, we're still coping with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, all the billionaires getting together to inflict a kind of austerity for the working class, and while piling up money, the biggest waste of all, in their own pockets. Today, I want to discuss, well, a lot of people are having trouble understanding empathy and its relationship to democracy and to a better world sometimes. Well, first of all, simple empathy isn't going to help a lot. You need other skills, objective, creative, and compassionate, to give real impact um, socially. Um, for that empathy, that shared feeling to develop into uh, more mature uh, individual in society, um, an expansion of that empathy beyond tribe. Now, here's the connection. Tribalism is in the DNA of humans. Uh, when you when anthropologists have asked uh, isolated tribes who they consider to be human, and they would say, "Well, we're human. We're not sure about those sides." Well, that's how we feel about pigs and chickens and cows. They're just not human enough, so it's okay to kill them and to exploit them to the hilt. So, nature's a little exploitative. So, you know, capitalism is exploitative, but it's useful in its proper place, like fire in the fireplace, but not engulfing your house. So, what does this tribalism do? Well, there's empathy for a few that we actually know. These are the human beings. And people outside, well, they might just not be kind of like the animals, not quite as fully human we are. Well, the chimpanzees take that to the bank, going after killing and eating monkeys. So, how do we change this inclination to exploit the other, which seems to be at the root of a lot of our needless violence in the world? That and an inability to share, which happens in families and happens in small communities more easily. That's why they say, so that everybody's more friendly in a small town. Well, they're more friendly if you are part of that tribe. If you're not part of that tribe, you might be in trouble. The South, before the Civil War, still retained slaves. The North had pretty well gotten rid of it for whatever reasons, but the South needed to exploit somebody. And of course, some so the somebody is not somebody that's in my tribe that I have empathy for easily, that I know. So let's go grab some people from another place bring them over here, and and we can exploit them. You know, what's wrong with that? We have chickens and cows and pigs, and we sell them at market. Let's sell these folks at market too. Um, there's a lot about tribalism, which expanded its ugly head into states' rights in defense of slavery here in this country. Not looking at the age of the earth, very, very long period of time ago, very short period of time ago. And so this tribalism, I've mentioned in the title, what is he going to talk about? Yeah, this is the connection there to the origins of MAGA. MAGA is a reactionary response to an expansion of what we consider to be tribe. That is uncomfortable to people who, you're going outside their empathy zone. It's you're asking them to be human to those who not quite be human or just might be my enemy. Therefore, obviously, since they're outside of my empathy zone, they are um, they are not fully human. When we have wars, it's very often you hear in the past of the enemy being pictured as some kind of animal, rats or something like that, you know, fully permissible to kill. And so, but what gets around this communication, empathetic communication, experience of different people so that you can understand a broader picture of tribe. Eventually, we're going to need it to survive as a human race. We're going to have a single human tribe, at least on the surface. And so, you know, achieving that is going to be difficult. The MAGA origins are tribalistic. From the very beginnings of the Civil War, it was states' rights. Well, the smaller the tribe, the more you can kick people out or consider other people not human. So this is, even though you say, well, it's not the MAGA movement isn't entirely racist. No, but there's other ways of seeing people as not quite human, and that would mean people living in the country who crossed a line in the sand that we determined should declare our boundaries, and a line in the case of Mexico that we created in a war that our President Grant called just another example of a powerful nation stealing land. And you can see him shrugging his shoulders like, well, isn't that the way things are? Well, they tend to be. So we have to rise up a little beyond our evolutionary ape like tendency. We have to increase our sense of tribe. And the only way to do that is to get to know other people and understand. It's like people that wanted to deport everybody in the MAGA movement didn't think they were talking about their neighbor who they were friends with. They didn't think that it would apply to the people they needed to have make their business work. No, those people are a little bit more in the tribe. Not fully, but well, they're intelligent farm animals that we can keep. We would like to keep, you know, and maybe my friend. I mean, we call your dog your friend. Yeah, but when it's time that you can't afford to take care of the dog, maybe you put the dog to sleep. Well, you can't ask the dog whether the dog agrees. So communication is key. So we're talking in this channel about inner mind communication, the place where you can practice empathy with yourself from different perspectives, and then be able to take those differing perspectives out into the real world where you can exercise and practice having empathy with people who are different than you. How does that work? Well, actually, in you, scientists have studied this. There isn't a single personality except in the sense that we have see ourselves as a unit in society that holds a certain place. But actually, um, we have different moods, and the difference between that and another personality is just uh, maybe razor thin. um, it's like you're not your. I don't feel myself today. You're not yourself today. Well, when you do inner mind communication and you practice your empathy, creative, compassionate, and objective, in that case, you're growing your empathy and your empathy skills, and that allows you to expand your tribe, especially the creative empathy, which broadens your perspectives by looking at things from a lot of different viewpoints, and yes. So I've heard it argued that we need to have smaller nations, independent, that would have a greater sense of tribe and take care of their own better. Yeah, the trouble with that is that when you're in such a tribe, well, the apes have that, but when the boundaries are challenged, one tribe wants what you got, and there's not enough communication and trade going on. Consider them part of your tribe. Uh, yeah, that's what leads to uh, taking over somebody else's land by force. You can dance all around that, but that's just wrong. And that's what Putin did, and we condone that. MAGA is reactionary in the sense that it is less empathetic in a broader sense. Now, that broader sense, well, what is the value of that? Well, the broader sense of empathy involves different forms of empathy. Objectivity, from which we get truth. You notice that the MAGAs don't seem to care much about the truth, just whatever they're promised or whatever. They don't think about these things. Um, Objectivity is a way of meeting human needs. It's a pathway to the virtue of truth. And empathy means you care about the feelings of other people in the pursuit of that truth. And, yeah, because, yeah, it's how you act in an objective way and understand that there's no free trade without fair trade. It's, um, now, growth in the creative perspective means you can take the view of any number of people or any number of views that other people might have, and you know, not hate them, just understand the perspective. That can lead to greater artfulness or greater skills in handling different points of view and coming up with new integrated points of view, which I think would be called art. And that's your inner artist. It's your brain. Go into that a lot. Well, it's already gone into occasionally videos. A lot of people just, whoo, they don't get that. You know, listen to the scientists, the humblest people around, and the people who really, I think, case of Neil deGrasse Tyson and some others, wow, care about how you feel. And Neil deGrasse Tyson's mentor, very famous, he said that we're the universe knowing itself. Well, if that doesn't tie everything together in a big package, I don't know what does. That makes the universe our tribe, in one sense. And okay, that's the value of creative empathy, and you grow into that um, by engaging and talking with people who are different, who have different views, and in a loving way come to an agreement on how to best do the most efficient thing of all, which is to make sure everybody's loved. Everybody gets what they need. Win-win situations, not win-lose and win. And compassionate empathy. Well, that's the permission that we give, safe sense of safety, put it that way, that we are able to communicate to people so that they feel free to express what it is that they need. Because you need a safe environment in order to express your needs. Otherwise, they aren't. Yeah. So MAGA is reactionary. It's people who have had trouble moving into a larger sense of tribe. That's where it comes from. I haven't heard this on any channels, but that's where it's coming from. And I'm sure that a lot of people, different fields of study, know this. I haven't heard them speaking up, but they should. If you're listening to this, speak up, They don't have a larger sense of tribe. You notice that a lot of the biggest support for the reactionary Republican Party is among the more rural and isolated communities and those with a history of considering outsiders as no good, not human, not part of my tribe. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's not a put down or a statement that people in environments are stupid. The best generals in the Civil War were probably from the South. No, doesn't link to that kind of intelligence. But empathetic intelligence, that comes from growing your sense of tribe. That happens more so in big cities, especially that are hubs for world trade. You see more different people, and so that's extremely important. Um, that's my presentation for today, and if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments section, and please subscribe to the channel so that what's your idea? How are we going to bring people into a greater sense of tribe, a greater uh, empathy? And do you agree or disagree that we should practice empathy within our own minds? I think with a little imagination and that practice, we can grow and develop a greater sense of tribe and become more spiritually healthy. That means not so punishing. A lot of this punishing idea comes from some people being unworthy being in it. And you notice that Jesus was, for those who follow his teaching, um, it was very much against that idea. Um, the last judgment was supposedly, call me in prison. You visited. You kept me as tribe. Kept me someone to care about. And the others, they didn't. Saw me hungry, and you gave me thirsty, and you gave me and the what was said in response was by those by both sides was, when did we see you and did this, or the other side, when did we see you and not do this? You've done this when you done this or not done this to the least of the you not done it or done it me. So that's the mystic's perspective, speaking from uh, the greater empathy, which makes you kind of one all humanity. That's why I talk about mysticism. Mystics tend to get along pretty well, but always save us from the religious followers. But yeah, it's love. Love's what counts, and that's what this channel is about. But it's not about tolerating hatred, fear. Uh, there was a comedian who said, "I'm in a hate group," and it's we hate hate. Well, that can be used as an excuse for saying you're loving when you're not. But it's you have to defend democracy. And I mentioned that earlier. There's a connection between this tribal mindset and having a healthy democracy, which allows everyone to have a vote. The closer you get to democracy, the closer you get to a real heart for all of humanity. We can only hope that things will improve. I do not hate or want to punish these billionaires. They're sick. They're spiritually ill. Those who are following Trump, they're spiritually ill. They addicted to power and to greed because fear rules their lives. That's the same thing with bullies. There's a deep fear inside, uh, countering for that bullies. everything's a threat. You're on fear alert all the time. That's your excuse to beat up the innocent. Yeah. Well, you have to stand up against them. You have to defend the healthy uh, democracy against the poisonous oligarchies and fascists. You have to do that. And people at D-Day, they fought. They didn't hate the people in the other side necessarily. They were defending their democracy and right for everyone to have real freedom, which is to give and receive love. Real human need to have real free trade. Um, because the trade is fair. And don't think that you're not trading when you're giving to people who can't give back. That was also in teachings. If you give to those who can't give back, it is perhaps the greatest gift. And it is a gift that giving is what you feel inside. The kid in you feels it. And so get a gift back when you give. More blessed to give than to receive. And those who receive would, they like to give back. And if they can't, you remind them the gift is a blessing to you to give it. And they are the opportunity. They've already given back. They want to do something more? Fine. Maybe do it for someone different thing. So, yeah. You know that you live in a world of wonder. Remind yourself that you're part of that today. Reach out to somebody who's different. Well, try it. That doesn't mean reaching out to somebody who looks angry and they have a knife in their hand. You might need a defensive reaction, but never let hate and fear rule your life. It's going to be a miserable life. You don't want that. And heaven on earth may be a dream, but that was in the Lord's Prayer, that we should have a heaven right here. And it's up to us to try to create it. As we try, we're immediately rewarded. So, so with that, I will bid you farewell, and with this blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain falls soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, or her hand, or its hand, however you see it. The ultimate reality. Yeah. And subscribe. This and share the video. It's only going to get 2 or 3 views probably. So if you're one of them, it's very important that you subscribe to the channel, hear the make a comment, pro or con, and that'll help the channel. And then like the video if you do. Adios, amigos, amigas. Take care. May the road of blessing rise.